Well, good morning. Good Monday morning. But we'll see if it's a good Monday morning. Just starting here. Anyway, in the new truck, driving the automatic, learned a couple of things right off the bat. I'm probably not doing it right. I'll go ahead and just say that now before I get the criticism. But you're probably right. I'm probably not doing it right. But I got a load. Where am I going? Over to Yuba City and back, which is just a short run, which is perfect because, I need to get used to this thing and what the heck it does. And then back to Red Bluff. So 4-hour turnaround, basically. And so anyway, I go to hook onto the trailer this morning. And so I thought, well, I guess, try this creeper mode thing. And creeper mode doesn't mean that it transforms into a 1970s van with tinted windows, but it just creeps along. Anyway, I know in class they were saying that drop the airbags right before it goes under, and then that way it'll dip underneath and go. Well, I thought, well, let me try it without it. And no, it's not enough to make it go unless you drop the airbags. Too much resistance. At least that's what it was for me. I do know it was in creeper mode. And the reason why is because I went ahead and added a little throttle, and it was probably just a hair too much. It wasn't bad, but I mean, it was a pretty good little clunk. And then right away, it said that it aborted creeper mode because I had the brake. So I was like, okay, well, I know I was in creeper mode. Creeping mode, creeper, I don't know. So it's like, okay, fine. And I did the tug test, and that seemed to work okay. Got her all hooked up, pre-tripped it, the whole bit. Got back in, and, I'm used to using the trailer brake, the one you grab on the dash there. Some people call it trolley valve or something, I don't know. Anyway, so I lurched forward a little bit, and I pulled that brake, and apparently it went back into creeper mode because it acted like with a manual when you don't push the clutch in, but you're putting the brake on, and it's like in a bind, and just kind of jerks you real hard, and then you put the clutch in really fast, and all that play, all the stack of play just, lets loose. And I thought, man, okay, so I don't know if that's normal. I'm so used to using the trailer brake to give it the second tug test, where you actually roll forward a little bit. With the manual, I just put my foot on the clutch and pull it, and it hits it, and that's good. So, I don't know. Apparently I need to practice that a little bit. So I thought, well, okay, no big deal. If that's the only hitch this morning, then I can handle that. And then, so got going down the road, and so you got to make a left onto the on-ramp to go southbound on I-5, and it's kind of a little, not a downhill, but it kind of slopes down a little bit, and you turn hard left. It's like a really sharp left because it kind of goes back the other way almost. And so I make the turn, and then as my trailer is just missing the curb or the sign or whatever there on my left side, I go ahead and add a little throttle, let's get going. And this thing's trying to shift all of these different gears and all this, and the next thing you know, it just kind of winds up like, boom, like it's in neutral, right? I'm like, okay, maybe it just needs to think about it, so I'll just let it think about it, They can think all at once. It's in neutral. So I'm like, well, maybe tap the throttle. No. All right. Luckily, it's downhill a little bit, so I pulled off onto the shoulder, and I thought, maybe you just got to stop. So I stopped, and then I hit the throttle. No, still stuck in neutral. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely probably not doing it right. So I put it in neutral with the selector and then put it back into drive, and everything's fine at that point. So I don't know. Strange. It misses a gear right out the gate there. I mean, I don't know why it would. I mean, it seems like it should have been fine. Well, whatever the reasoning, got going, and so now down here at the Streak and Beacon, because all right, it's like clean truck now, kinda. That's a Streak and Beacon for you. Yeah. Some kind of a grease wipe or something there. Oh well. Yeah, they don't call it the Streak and Beacon for nothing, so. Alright, got my dispatch going up to Woodburn, Oregon, which is pretty good, because that's going to burn up day and a half, day and 3/4, something like that. I'm only working 4 days this week, so great. It's good weather, good running, lots of miles. So yeah, took this thing out this morning. Went to, like I told you guys earlier, went to Yuba City and back, flat ground, nothing. A couple towns you go through Chico. And another thing it did, I come up to a stoplight and it was trying to grab a gear. You could tell it was kind of struggling to downshift, I guess. And then I hit the throttle and it kind of revved up, and I'm like, I guess I'm not in gear yet, because the light was red and then it turned green and I had just got to it. And it said depress the brake pedal. So I hit the brake and it went right into gear. So yeah, I don't know if this is normal or not. Strange. But I did get a kick out of one of the comments, and I've been kind of waiting for someone to ask this, or not ask it, actually make this statement. They said, you're making a bigger deal out of driving an automatic than it really is. And I said, yeah, you're right. I am making a bigger deal out of it. I mean, there's really nothing to it, right? You just throw it in D and then hit the throttle and then hit the brake when you want to stop. And so, I mean, everything I've been saying is kind of making a big deal out of it. But, I'm making a big deal out of it because, well, for one, I didn't want one. For 22 years, I've been in a manual. So, it's, if I'm going to do it, then let's see what's wrong with this thing. Let's see what's not right. It seems to be my nature. But another part of me says, let's see what's right with it. Is there more to it than just putting it in D and going? And like I said before, there's multiple different modes, descent mode, E-Coast, you name it, creeper mode, all these different things. And when I got in here, I didn't see a sign anywhere that said, hey, this is what you do to make it go into creeper mode, or this is what you do to make it do this or that. And matter of fact, I didn't see anything except for this shifter that has a D, an N, and an R on it. So, like I said, I was in class the other day, and there was a couple of guys that have been here over 25 years, and they were like, I didn't know it had the whatever mode that was being talked about. And then during the break, a couple of them went out and they were like, well, we're going to try that, and see what that is. And these are guys that have been driving for 35 years or more. So, I mean, they're not dummies. They're actually pretty smart because they don't have any tickets or accidents throughout their career. And they work at one of the best places around. So, can't really call them out on that. They just didn't know. And so, yeah, I'm making a bigger deal out of it because if they don't know, then do y'all really think that everybody knows all these different modes that these things have? And I know the answer, well, nobody cares. I think some people do, actually. And one of the things is it's all about fuel mileage. And for most people who work at most companies, they could care less. They're like, what do I care? Why would I want to save the company any money? It hammer down, it just costs me money to slow down or to be worrying about such things, and I get that. The truth of it is, though, I'm bored. I've been driving for 22 years, over 2.5 million miles of no tickets, no accidents, my entire career. I've done a great job, and you just get bored with stuff after a while, And this is how I make my living, so, like I said, I'm not planning on jumping into something else anytime soon, although maybe at some point. So, if I can make a bigger deal out of something where people don't know how to use it, or if they can get better fuel mileage, I'll figure it out. It's something to do, It's something to figure out, perfect it, find out what's right with it, what's wrong with it. Just talk about it and be like, hey, this is what I discovered. So, in the meanwhile, bear with me while I make a big deal out of stuff. Anyway, I'm on my way to Woodburn. All right, Monday is finally over. Yay. So, I told you guys what happened earlier in the day. Went out to Yuba City, came back, and then they gave me a Woodburn, Oregon. So, I made it up here to Rice Hill, about mile marker 148 here in Oregon. So, kind of a short day. I cut it down early. I'm always dragging on Mondays, so I just cut it short. Let's see, what did I do? I got 484 miles. I made $363, and my ADP jumped up a little, so I'm at 432 right now. So, I don't mind on my first day out. I just want to get done and cut it off early and get an early start on my Tuesday morning. Only going to be working 4 days, so we'll see what they're going to do with me. But so I used the creep mode. I think it's called creep, not creeper. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Used it going, hooking up to trailers. You have to drop the airbags. It doesn't push it along good enough to be lifting a trailer up. No big deal. I drop the bags. As soon as I get underneath it, I just air them right back up. Takes all the jerkiness out of everything. That's kind of nice. I tried it without creep mode, and quite jerky. It's not fine-tuned. It wants to leap and stuff. Not bad, but I mean, it's just, there's a difference. Worked really good putting it in the dock or backing it in between trailers. That seemed to work really well. A little slow, but I mean, it was not bad. Going through the mountains, I had about 32,000 pounds in the box, so I wasn't really loaded, but some pretty good hills. I tried just doing the auto thing where I just drive and see what it does. I wanted to go in the highest gear possible quickly. Eventually would have to downshift, but seemed a bit slow. Then I manually was shifting it, into a lower gear to keep the RPMs up. Worked incredibly better. It's not like you're doing it everywhere. It's just when you're on that steep climb kind of deal. That worked incredibly well. Going downhills, one of the things that irritates me is that the minute you hit the Jake brakes, first stage or second stage, it just, boom, it wants to kick it down a gear. And that's like maybe 1,600 RPM. Not too bad, but man, you hit that third stage and it wants to jump up to like 2,000, 2,100, maybe 2,200, which is, to me, I don't know, it seemed a bit irritating. Seemed like it was a bit too high. It worked, but I don't know. It seems like I've always liked the Jakes running like 1,700, 1,800. But, maybe this is how it is. I don't know. I'll ask around. But it did hold back on the hills. I came out to Siskiyous, held back beautifully. Not a problem. I don't know. It did good. I noticed that going through the first gears, you need to skip some gears, like start off in third or something like that, or fourth or whatever, depending on your load. And then go through those first few gears quickly, and then you can do the less is more thing,
And it works pretty good. I mean, this thing will get down to like 1,000 RPM, and it pulls. It's like, actually pulls better than my manual did. Quite a bit better. I would have never been able to do that at 1,000 RPM. I'd have been choking and dying there. So I could never drop below like 1,200. Once I got in that 11 range, it was not doing well. So this seems to do a lot better. So I noticed once you get in those higher gears, you can do the less is more, and it's pretty effective. Granted, I wasn't 80,000 pounds, but you know. So tomorrow I'll probably be going back to Red Bluff empty. I can't say for sure. I'm only working 4 days, so they may go up to Hermiston or something, but maybe going back to Red Bluff empty. That should act quite a bit different in the mountains, so I'll try some new stuff. So didn't film any of it. There really wasn't a lot to see. I think more than anything, I'm just sharing my experience as somebody that's never, had an automatic or really drove one at all. So just first impressions, I guess. And so I think what I've discovered today was it's not that bad. It works pretty good, actually. It's not icy and snowy, so I don't know. That'll be a whole nother thing, but I guess that won't be happening for a while. But overall, it's good. It was kind of nice not to shift. You got to play music loud to keep yourself awake because there's nothing to do. So anyway, that's what I got for you. Tomorrow I'll have something more. I'll find something. I'll find something wrong with this thing. Or something right. We'll see. All right, catch you guys tomorrow.